Hey guys, need to call a quick time out here. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling my listeners over at OU didn't know for a while now about all the cool things happening over at adsfreeshows.com.
An all-new Mailbag series debuts later this month on Ad-Free Shows as we pick the brain of a man who has spent 40-plus years in the wrestling business. Longtime WCW and WWE referee Nick Patrick answers your questions.
And Kurt Angle, where you get here on it? Or me on no, it ended up being my own blood. Austin had the title. It had those jagged edges on it, right? And they had a deal where Angle pulled me in, and I took the belt shot.
A little bonus content comes your way, courtesy of The Kurt Angle Show. A dream match became a reality back in 2016 as Kurt Angle squared off against Cody Rhodes on the Independents. For the first time, Kurt watches back his match against the American Nightmare.
This kid's really talented.
He's selling the ankle here on the leapfrog, went down on it awkwardly. He's outside the ring talking to the referee. This is, like you said, all part of the match plan. Hey, start to show that weakness in the ankle.
Yeah. This was his idea to make it look like he hurt his ankle so that when he did lose, he had something to gripe about.
Ad-Free Show members have chatted one-on-one with AEW stars like Eddie Kingston, Dax Harwood, Ricky Starks, and many more, including a recent live interactive session with Renee Paquette.
He still continues to do that. He's on commentary in AEW. So I think it was cool for him to kind of put on that analyst hat and get to kind of test out those waters a little bit. But end of the day, it was a thing that I think made him feel like, you know what? Wrestling can be okay again. I can have fun in the wrestling space again. And now we have CM Punk Wrestling. So you're welcome.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why Ads-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adsfreeshows.com.
Hey guys, before we get started, I want to thank you for tuning into My World with Jeff Jarrett, and I also want to thank you for checking out SaveWithConrad.com. That's where I'm going to show you how to get a cheaper monthly payment, how to get rid of all your credit card debt, and to pay your house off faster. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but we can do it for you right now at SaveWithConrad.com. You see, we're routinely helping our podcast listeners take their 30-year loan and pay it off in half the time with cheaper monthly payments. And we do that by helping to get rid of all your credit card debt, your second mortgage, even your car loans. We routinely help our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, even $800 a month. But maybe best of all, you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. And if we can't save you some cash, we won't waste your time. At SaveWithConrad.com, we can hook you up even with a credit score as low as 580. So here's the thing, man. You could have had a bankruptcy a few years ago. Good to go. You were late on a few payments last year. No problem. You see, at First Family, we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. We're going to get you a plan to where you want to be, and that's paying your house off before you retire, helping your kids with their college expense so they don't get saddled with student loans. And maybe if there's a little cash left over, we can do some upgrades around the house. Get you that new kitchen. Get you those new bathrooms. You can turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? That's right. Skip your next 2 payments. Your single biggest bill. Pocket all that cash for the next 2 months at SaveWithConrad.com. We've got an A+ rating with the BBB. Go check out our reviews. Our average rating is 4.72 stars. And we've got over 1,000 5-star reviews for SaveWithConrad.com.
Hello everyone, this is Mick Foley and I'm so glad to have the opportunity to talk to you for a minute or so about what Jerry Jarrett meant to my career. Not sure if I would have had a career had Jerry not made the decision to hire me in the summer of 1988. And although I was not exactly setting the wrestling world on fire during my 4 months in Memphis, I did enough and opened up enough eyes for Jerry to offer me a role in world-class championship wrestling, which he had recently purchased from Fritz von Erich. And that move, that meant everything. I gained so much in the way of confidence and experience. I had some of the best baby faces in the business to work with, of which Jeff, you were one of them, but Chris Adams was another. Eric Embry was an unconventional but super over babyface. Kerry and Kevin Von Erich, Chris Adams, oh man, Brickhouse Brown. It was just a great place to work and grow, and I would not have had that opportunity without Jerry. I'm so glad, Jeff, that I had a chance to speak to your dad a few months ago in Chicago. He had some of the kindest words for me. And now that he's not with us anymore, I'm going to treasure those words and realize how meaningful they are coming from someone who has seen it all and done it all. Wishing you, Jeff, and your entire family the very best, offering my deepest condolences, and just feeling really grateful that I knew your dad.
I know how Jeff looked up to his father, and so I know what a loss it is to him, because I felt the exact same way a couple of years ago. And so so sorry to hear that for the living relatives. You know what I mean? I believe, and I believe Jeff believes, and I believe his father believed that the vessel he walked on this earth in is now no more, and he is at home and with his father. And I believe that, and I know Jeff does. And so they will meet again. I firmly believe that. But now I pray for the living. Like I said, I pray to have strength to get through this time. You know, a lot of people kind of make jokes about sending thoughts and prayers, but when you can't do nothing else like this, what else do you do? You know, what else is there to do but other than just want to be there for him and hug him if he needs it and tell him I love him and tell him I'm here. And I've done all those things. And so Jerry Jarrett was, I could describe him as a promoter and a wrestling this and a wrestling that, but I'm very in tune with what Jeff is feeling right now, being as though I just went through it, and I think he looks at his father the same way I looked at mine, and I just want to be there for him now. You know what I mean? I want to be there for Jeff, and I think Jeff's dad is probably, and even if you ask him, the best gig he ever had. You know what I mean? He had 3 children. And so I guarantee you, if you ask him, the best job he ever had was being their dad. And so he was a hell of a man. He really was. And he did a lot for this industry. But he was Jeff's dad. And Jeff don't have him no more to talk to. And that's hard. You know what I mean? I still, to this day, have moments where I go, man, I want to tell Dad that. You know what I mean? And it's about wrestling, and it's about the politics of wrestling. That's something my father and I, and I know Jeff's father and I, our father and him, had a real great relationship towards the end there. And so I'm thankful that they had that. Jeff, I love you, dude. And I am here for you, like I told you. And we're all thinking about you right now. And if we're praying, people, we're praying for your strength. Yeah, rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett, and God bless the Jarrett family.
Jeff, I am so sorry for your loss. At the same time, though, I celebrate Jerry Jarrett's life. He is a man that was a wrestler, promoter, businessman, also a mentor and a life coach to a lot of people. And I witnessed that firsthand in Nashville when he came into backstage there. It's like Elvis was in the building. And I heard them all thanking him for what he had done for them. Not just for them, helping them in wrestling, but helping them get ready for life without wrestling. And this, you need to be proud of. He was a fantastic individual. I loved our interviews together. Oh, yes, they were great. Again, I sincerely hope that you and your family the very best. Going through this, I know he's not suffering anymore. And I hope we all will be where he is at some point. Love you guys. You take care.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bruno Lauer, also known as Downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman. I want you to know that Jerry Jarrett was like a second father to me. His mother, Christine Jarrett, was like a second mother to me. Jeff is a brother to me, and it's part of my family. It was devastating when I found out that he had lost his battle, and it was something that I won't get over. But I love Deborah, Jeff, Jerry, who we called Little Man, Teeny, Christine, great people, a huge part of my life, and a huge part of my life is no longer here on this earth, but I know I'll meet up with him again when I get to heaven, good Lord willing. I'm a very strong Christian man, and so is Jerry, so I know we'll all be together one day, and we'll have our own wrestling organization up there. So God bless Jerry Jarrett, God bless the whole family, and I love each and every one of them very much. So keep them in your prayers, as I will as well. Thank you.
Hey guys, I wanted to take a minute to express how much Jerry Jarrett meant to me and my career in professional wrestling. I've been to Memphis maybe 4 times before the last time I came to Memphis, when Jeff had been wrestling about 5-6 years. We had a great angle going on. Texas versus Tennessee. Steve Austin was just making his way. There were a lot of great stars, a lot of great angles going on in the early 90s in Memphis, Tennessee. But if it wasn't for Jerry Jarrett, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to teach at the wrestling school he started. He opened up one in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and gave me an opportunity to run it and get my reps in to what I'm doing right now with my wrestling school in Knoxville, Tennessee. But Jerry Jarrett influenced every major wrestling star that came through Memphis, Tennessee, and trust me, 95% of the wrestling business came through Memphis, Tennessee, including myself. Without Jerry's guidance, without his promotional skills, it never would have reached the heights that it did. And for that, I just want to say thank you very much, Jerry, and you'll always be in my heart.
Austin Idol coming at you to say a little bit about Jerry Jarrett. Gosh, there's so much to say about him, and I really don't have enough time. But I will say that the world of professional wrestling lost a true icon. Absolutely, a true icon, a visionary, entrepreneur, and a great guy. It wasn't just about what he did for professional wrestling and myself, but the spirit and soul of Jerry Jarrett was immeasurable. It really was. Obviously, he's going to be sorely missed by the world of wrestling, his legion of fans, and all of his loved ones, and including me. I was really saddened to hear that news. And my thoughts and prayers go out to my good friend Jeff and the rest of the family. You know, it's really tough to put into words about him. But I'll give you a personal experience, how he affected my life. And in such a positive way. Jerry flew me into Memphis, Tennessee, a long, long time ago. For one day, it was on a Saturday morning where they did live TV. And all I did was go out and cut a promo. That's all I did, cut a promo. After the production was over, Jerry called me into a room to discuss business. And he said, gosh, Idol, man, what a promo. That was a great promo. And, you know, I want you to come in and work with me. And I said, Jerry, I'd love to do it. Appreciate the opportunity, but I don't want to work full time. And he said, you don't want to work full time? I said, no, I really don't want to work full time. I said, you know, I'd like to come in maybe on a Monday, Memphis, Tuesday, Louisville, Wednesday, Evansville, Indiana, then once a month, Thursday, in Lexington, Kentucky, Rupp Arena. And he just kind of paused, and I know what he was thinking. He was thinking, gosh, I don't do that with anybody. Do I really want to do this? Do I want to take a chance on this guy and just let him work a little bit part-time and see how it goes. And he decided right there, he made a business decision. He didn't let a personal decision come between his business decision. He was that smart and savvy. And he said, okay, Idol, let's do it. 10 years off and on, 10 long years in the Memphis territory for Jerry Jarrett. All started with that one moment. Okay, Idol, let's do it. Best run I ever had in professional wrestling was with Jerry Jarrett. So obviously he had a tremendous effect, tremendous impact on me personally. I never did forget it. I definitely have not forgotten it, and I never will forget it. So Jerry, I miss you like everybody else does. You're a great person, a great business person, and you're going to be sorely missed, Jerry. R.I.P. Rest in peace.
All right, let's run a timeout right now to tell you about our friends at Athletic Greens. Jeff and I start our day every single day with a little AG1, and it's for you if you're looking for better gut health or more energy, or maybe to optimize your immune system. Maybe you hate taking pills or vitamins and think, man, if I'm going to do this, it better taste good. Well, AG1 checks all the boxes. Now, what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're going to absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, everything you need to start your day right. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you're trying to eat keto or paleo or vegan, or maybe you're dairy-free or even gluten-free, AG1's for you. It has less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, and no artificial anything, and it still tastes good. It'll support better sleep quality and recovery, better mental clarity and alertness. Think of it as like your all-in-one nutritional insurance. And with over 7,000 5-star reviews, you know it's the good stuff. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/myworld. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/myworld to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
I'm here to talk about innovator in pro wrestling, Jerry Jarrett. Jerry Jarrett, in my opinion, lived what America's supposed to be. He came from humble beginnings. He got into pro wrestling, became worldwide known as one of the smartest guys in the history of the wrestling business. Was so smart that people don't understand this. When the NWA was strong, he split away from Nick Goulas and Roy Welsh, who were the NWA promoters for almost 35 years there before Jerry split from them. The NWA, unprecedentedly, went to Jerry Jarrett's aid. I happened to be on that card the first night. They had the Briscoes, they had myself and Mike Graham, they had Rock and Roll, they had Holly Race there. Of course, they had the King and Dundee and a host of others. Jerry, what I have to say is to you, Jeff, he's got all these accolades for people that perform for him. And my feeling's the same as a lot of guys have said. I felt I didn't lose a boss, I lost a friend. He gave people's jobs, helped their families, and again, he was one of the smartest individuals in the history of pro wrestling. Besides being the last territory to survive, after that, he went on to be a consultant for WWF at the time, and then a consultant for WCW. When Vince might have gone to jail for the time with a steroid scandal, Jerry was the guy to go to take his place. That's how much respect Jerry Jarrett had in this business. And Jeff, I want to say to you, it's been a pleasure knowing your family. And brother, I know you're going to do a magnificent job anywhere you go. It runs in the family.
You know, about 3 months ago in Las Vegas, Nevada, Cauliflower Alley, Jerry Jarrett and I sat down for over an hour and we talked about Memphis memories. And then a couple of weeks ago, when I'm sitting at home, Jerry Jarrett, his lovely wife Deborah, called me one night, and we were like a couple of school kids talking about Memphis memories. And I said, Jerry, back in the Memphis days, how come you gave me so many different people to manage? He said, you know what, Jimmy, in this business, 2 sticks are harder to break than 1. But I just want to say this, Jerry. Without Jerry Jarrett, there'd be no Jimmy Hart. I love you, baby, forever. It's hard to kill a memory.
Hey, Jeff, it's Vince, man. And listen, I was really sorry to hear about the passing of your dad, Jerry, this week. And I learned from good old Dutch's tweet. And I just want to say, man, in being totally transparent here, Jerry Jarrett was not a big fan of Vince Russo. And the reality of it is a lot of that was on me. I was younger at the time, maybe had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. You could say I was a brash New Yorker, and all those things would be absolutely correct. Plus the fact that your dad and I mean, you and I, we're just different people from different parts of the world with different backgrounds and different philosophies. And we definitely looked at the business of pro wrestling differently. But that doesn't mean for 1 second that I didn't have the utmost respect for your dad, because I did. And I always did. And I still have. And I did learn from him. Your dad was a pioneer, Jeff. And for me in my career to not understand that, I'd have to be some type of an idiot. Guys like your father made it possible for guys like me to have a career in the wrestling business. People like you, Jeff, made it possible for guys like me to have a career in the wrestling business. You paved the way. You were a pioneer. Your father was a pioneer before you. Your grandmother was a pioneer before him. And I've never, ever lost sight of that. So I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry, bro. I will always, always respect your dad. I will always, always respect you and be very, very thankful for everything you ever did for me. God bless you, Jeff. I'll see you soon.
Oh my gosh, Jerry Jarrett. Where do I start? In my world, I started watching Memphis Wrestling in 1973. I watched all the way till it ended in the late 1990s. It was just a part of my youth, a part of my teenage years, a part of my college years. And it was a great part of it. All those great memories, they all started inside Jerry's head. And they came to fruition in the ring. Later on, a couple years, we're jumping forward to around 2005, I decided to document Memphis Wrestling. So I was writing some books on the subject and figured I need to know more. So I contacted Jerry, and he was completely open to helping me with what I needed. I knew the ring stuff and the matches and all these things and the stories I'd heard, but he knew the behind the scenes stuff, why it worked, how it worked, why you did what you did to make these things happen. And he was just, without his help, those books would be nowhere near as popular and as informative as they are. So I was always very thankful. If you jump forward a few years to, I want to say around 2012 or so, Jerry contacted me and wanted to do his autobiography. I said, of course, I'll help you any way I can. So we worked on that. He wanted, his grandchildren were young, and he wanted to make sure that those grandchildren knew the story about their grandfather, what went on, how it went on, and he just wanted to do a real book. And it was basically a gift to those grandchildren. And we did it, and he liked it, and I liked that he was happy. Through all that, almost 20 years now, Jerry and I became friends. And whenever we were within 100 miles of one another, we would show up at the event, and we'd get to talk and hang out a little bit, and that was always fun. Jerry was a great guy, very smooth talker, not one to yell and scream, and he cared about people. He treasured the fans who had been with him all the years, who had stuck through thin and thin in Memphis, and then followed him to TNA and all these things, and he always appreciated those fans. Regardless of the event, anybody that came up to Jerry, he'd shake their hand, introduce himself, want to know their name. It mattered to Jerry, and I think that appreciation is one of the things that was great about Jerry. He never took things for granted. He always wanted to give the fans their money's worth, and he always wanted to make sure they were happy. As far back as I can remember, after I met him, that's what he did. And I look back now, and I'm going to miss Jerry. He was such a great guy. I'll miss our phone calls. I'll miss our emails. I'll miss our texts. It's just a sad week. I feel horrible for Miss Deborah, for Jeff, for his other children and grandchildren. I just wish my deepest condolences to them, and I'll miss Jerry. I'll miss his friendship.
It's hard for me to make these things and know what to say and not sound cliche or corny, but talking about Jerry Jarrett, he was one hell of a man. He was brilliant, and he was a friend of mine, and he believed in me when I was a 1-2-3 kid. He's the reason why Marty Jannetty and I were the tag team champions when we beat the Quebecers back in '94. And when he started TNA, which went on to become Impact, Scott and I were two of the first people he called. And Scott loved him too. If Scott was still here today, he'd be singing the praises of Jerry Jarrett right now, right next to me. We both loved him a lot. And he was a brilliant man, and he had a really cool style about him. I remember seeing his Gucci tennis shoes one day, and I had to copy them and went out and bought a pair for myself. I can't say enough great about Jerry Jarrett, and same goes for his son Jeff. I love the Jarretts, and Jerry, you're definitely going to be missed. Can't thank you enough. I appreciate your friendship. Love you, Jerry. Love you, Jeff.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to come to you today to say a few words to pay tribute to Mr. Jerry Jarrett. Made such a difference in my life and literally millions of other people's lives over the years. I've been fortunate to know Jerry for well over 30 years now, and just always such a positive influence in my life. Always such a nice, even-keeled presence. Somebody that always would have a good word for you. Not only did he give me work in the later years of the Memphis territory, but he changed my life early on, and without the Memphis territory being what it was, and the promoting and booking magic of Jerry Jarrett and the in-ring talent of Jerry Lawler, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't have ever had a career affiliated with this business. And it all started because Jerry Jarrett made Memphis, Tennessee his flagship town, just about 35 or 40 minutes from where I grew up. And it made all the difference in my life. And not only that, but to get to be his friend. They always say, never meet your heroes. Well, Jerry Jarrett was one of mine, and meeting your heroes has worked out pretty well for me, I'd say. So I just, the legacy speaks for itself, really. What can you say? When WWE's in trouble, call Jerry Jarrett. When WCW's in trouble, call Jerry Jarrett. That says it all. That says it all. The longevity in his work says it all. To Jeff and your family, just sending love praying for you, and will be beside you. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. Jerry Jarrett, for everything.
My name is Raven, professional wrestling superstar, but you already knew that. Anyway, this isn't about me. This is about Jerry Jarrett. And Jerry Jarrett is a true legend of the business. He's an entertainer, he's a businessman, he's a showman, and he's a genius. The guy's booking was so brilliant, so original, so many things that are done today that people go, oh, that was a great idea somebody came up with. Oh no, Jerry Jarrett came up with it first. Jerry Jarrett always came up with the best ideas, and he entertained me for so many years as a promoter and as a booker and as a showman. Jerry Jarrett, here's to you. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Hey Jeffro, I just wanted to first and foremost let you know how sorry I was to hear about the passing of your father. You know, families like ours been around the wrestling business since the beginning of time, but yours especially. I remember your grandmother Christine back in the day. Steve and I in the 1980s came to work for your dad, and your dad was nothing but hospitable. It was a great time. We had a good time and we learned a lot, and your father was instrumental in all that. And you know, I know you fast forward to WWE days, and every time I'd run into you, I would always ask, and you know this, how's your dad? How's your dad? He was instrumental. In you know, early 2000s, we did TNA, and I got to see him a lot, and I always had so much respect for him because you hired me on as a referee, and as a referee, he would come to me and ask me, hey, does that make sense to you? Or what would be your train of thought on doing this? And he always made me feel like I was part of the team. And, you know, in the wrestling business, that's important, is being part of a team. And your dad was that guy. You know, time's going on, and we all get older, and you know, you hate this part of the business to see guys pass away, because in our business, it's always just like, well, they just got out of the car, and I'll see them again tomorrow or on the next trip. And that's where we'll see him and Bullet Bob and Brad and all the guys gone before us, man. But I just want to say, man, the Jarrett family, Armstrong family, there's a tie, and you know it. And I appreciate being just a small link in that chain. I really do. I just want to, again, my condolences, and I look forward to seeing you sooner than later, Jeff. Thank you for this time. I truly appreciate being able to talk to you like this. All right, have a great day, buddy.
Hello, I'm Michael St. John. It is rare in human existence that you meet someone that makes such a dramatic impression simply by integrity and personality. Intuitive, creative, humble, kind, intellectual, and introspective into life and common sense. A man whose mere presence commands respect. For me, that was Jerry Jarrett. A man of great character, tender emotions, and a kind heart. A man who knew what he wanted and knew what needed to be done to achieve it. It was Memphis in spring of 1977. I was 25 years old, program director of WMPS Radio, The Great 68, owned by Plow Broadcasting, who had just fired America's preeminent radio personality, Rick Dees. I had to clean up the mess. Jerry Lawler had come to know me from appearing on the Ron Jordan Show in the afternoons, a balance to Rick Dees in the morning, as a wrestling fan and would-be commentator. Jerry Jarrett had just split off from Goulas Wrestling and was putting his territory together, but at the time running the Cook Convention Center downtown and taping his wrestling shows there for a few weeks. After a couple of other talents filled the role to be the placeholder until Lance Russell and Dave Brown could get out of their contracts and obligations to Channel 13 TV, I was given a shot to commentate. Jerry Jarrett liked the fact that my calls would be technical, as wrestling was a hole-to-hole sport in that period, and my enthusiasm of making wrestling sound like a football game. That was a 3-week engagement. Lance and Dave came aboard. Memphis Wrestling's golden era began at Channel 5, and a legendary story that is alive in wrestling today would evolve. We crossed paths again when, ironically, I was Nick Goulas's commentator in Nashville in 1980, when Jerry Jarrett took over the territory, once more displacing my commentating role. But this time, Jerry asked me to work with the company on an as-needed basis, doing voiceover work, on-camera promos, and the like. But this time, my acquaintance with Jerry Jarrett would become a friendship, not only in the role of a wrestling announcer, but a mutual admiration of each other's success in our primary business. As time went on and opportunities to better know each other while in the wrestling office or at his home or riding to Memphis or Dallas or other towns for wrestling events, I came to know and admire Jerry as a tremendous creative mind, a business general who knew exactly how to make a business successful, and moreover as a modern-day philosopher whose combination of common sense and the human spirit made for mind-stimulating conversation. Many times I would ask Jerry for his time to talk about my radio station and its quirks and twists and turns, and moreover the personalities involved. It was akin to what Jerry did, running a wrestling company with its quirks and twists and turns and personalities involved. I never left Jerry's conversations without gaining some degree of knowledge or advice. As his years in the wrestling business evolved, we would talk from time to time, sometime in person, sometime on the phone, and every time he would first ask, "How are you doing?" as a serious want-to-know question, followed by, "How is your radio station doing?" A serious inquiry into the business end of broadcasting. Over the past decade or so, our encounters became fewer as my radio business grew and his enjoyment of life from retirement grew. But I've never lost the passion, the drive, and the ambition that my Jerry Jarrett encounters always brought. The one event that probably affected our personal psyche more profoundly than any was the loss of Tojo Yamamoto as a friend and kindred spirit. That one thing would come up in every conversation after that, somehow, some way. When I heard of Jerry's passing, my first thought was that of surprise and loss, and regret that I hadn't stayed closer in touch, but time, as well as life's turns, has a way of causing that. My very next thought was the fact of how fortunate I have been to know Jerry Jarrett in one-to-one sessions that made me a better manager, a better business operator, and a better person. The wrestling business has lost a legend, but much more has lost a creative mind with a compassionate heart. May God hold Jerry in his spirit and in our hearts for the rest of our lives and time on earth.
Hey everybody, Michael P.S. Hayes here, and I just wanted to jump in on the Jerry Jarrett tribute show. I have a couple things to say. I've had some experience with Jerry in the past, and it was always interesting. Jeff, you, Karen, your mom, your immediate family, my condolences, my prayers, but I also wanted to be a part of celebrating Jerry's life. Some people know this, some people don't. Jerry Jarrett was the first one to allow us to call ourselves the Fabulous Freebirds. Jerry also was the first one to ever let us play Freebird, a rock and roll music entrance, at live events. Now, I'm not going to BS you. That particular run in Memphis didn't turn out as well as we had all hoped at the beginning, but it ended up turning well for everybody involved. We went on to Mississippi and Oklahoma and Louisiana and did a little thing with the Junkyard Dog, and Memphis kept rocking and rolling. Later in life, we would come back and have some successful ventures with Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler in Memphis. But Jeff, man, when you celebrate your dad's life, it's going to take a while because he lived a great life and did so many things. And especially if you take a look at the business today, almost all roads of what has happened or has morphed into something that your father started in Memphis. So I would just like to say to you, besides my congratulations on your dad's life, that I really hope in time the grief dissipates and the memories of so many things that your father did that continue to live on today will help you march on. Later.